Hi everyone, Bifties here, welcome to my Exile. This video is part of my Made Easy series for Path of Exile 2. It's a beginner's guide from a beginner. I came over from Diablo 4, I've got about 250 hours in the game, but I didn't play Path of Exile 1. So a game like this is still quite new to me and I am learning every day. This video is about loot filters, and if you don't know what a loot filter is, it will help you as you move through the game. My last video was all about looting, what to loot and why, but I did promise to make this about loot filters. Now, they're not part of the game officially, but they are fully authorized, so there's no problem with adding one, but you will need to download it separately. On a side note, I was called out recently for not making the most of the screen. The footage you've got playing on the screen right now has nothing to do with this video, and I received a comment about that. So we're going to try and make this video a little bit more helpful. They were absolutely right. I need to make the most of everything available to me. So here's me. This is me full screen. I'm sorry if that's too much for you, but there won't be too much of it. Now, what you want to do in order to get this loot filter is actually go over to a browser, and you're going to search for a PoE2 loot filter, and then you can scroll down and you'll find it as the GitHub. If you actually search NeverSink PoE2, because that's the loot filter that we're going to be talking about, that will actually give you the second result, and then you want to go in and it will take you to this page where you will see lots of details of files and everything else to do with it. You don't need to worry about this at all. It's just so that you don't get freaked out when you see the screen if you've never used GitHub before. Click on this and it will take you over to the latest version. You always want to get the latest version, and you may want to check back from time to time to see if there's been an updated version and if there's been any changes, which will be listed here. When you're on this page, all you need to do, go down and grab the zip. Get the zip file. Now, if you're not familiar with a zip file, you need WinRAR or WinZip in order to open or extract it. But I think Windows can handle it now. It used to not be able to, but I think it'll be absolutely fine. It's going to download it in a single file. So when you click on it, it's going to download it, and then you're going to get your file. If you go to your downloads folder, or you right click and show in folder, then you will find it there. Now, in the link, you will actually get a full guide on how to install this. But effectively, all you're going to do is go over to this folder, and that's where you're going to extract the files. Now, you can actually go over to the game, and that's here. And if you go into the game and go to Options, Game, you can click on the folder here, and it will open it for you, so that you can actually paste the file that you've downloaded in and extract it there. That's going to give you all of the filters that you need, and then all you need to do is extract it into that file, into that folder, and then you're going to have all of these files. If they don't go straight into the folder, then go into the folder that you've extracted, and then when you're in there, you can actually find them all. And I would copy over all of these, just the dot filters, the NeverSink filters, copy those over and put them into the main folder here. And that way, once you're back in the game, you will then see that they are all available here. I think on one occasion, I actually had to exit the game and load it again. So try that if it's not showing. And I have actually got one additional filter that you won't be showing, so don't worry about that. You should have the 0 through till 6, and these are all different levels of filtering that are going to help you in the game. Now, you're going to want to start off on 0. 0 is going to be the basic one, and it's going to hide possibly nothing at all. But what the filter does, it's not just about hiding things that you don't need, all of the loot that you don't need to worry about. It will actually add larger text for some items. There will be additional sounds. So if any of you have had any uniques at any point while playing the game, then you will know that that comes with a sound and a ray coming down. I'm not quite sure what they're called or referred to, but that draws your attention to it so that you don't miss it. What this filter does is actually add noises and rays like that so that you don't miss things. And the further you get into the game, you will find this really useful because you may be moving very quickly through a dungeon, and then off screen, actually, when something dies, you will get an audio cue so you know to go back for it. It may not be at that point yet, but that's really helpful. Now, one of the things that I did notice, and I pointed out to you that I had an additional filter in the game, I actually had the light filter. And this is just this is NeverSink's loot filter before he or she released the main filters. Now, I'd like to talk about the light filter just briefly because it actually helped me realize what loot was useful. And I do talk about that in the previous video because what it will draw attention to and what text will be a bit larger are any items that have quality or any items that have a slot to them. And along with that, you'll also have rings, amulets, and belts. And what I found useful was when I was first starting out, my first playthrough through the game, was I didn't know what was important, but by installing that light filter, it was kind of telling me, okay, quality is important, sockets are important, amulets, rings, belts. Now, belts are interesting. You tend to want to keep an eye out for more than one charm slot. And obviously, the nice thing about rings and amulets is they take up very little room in your inventory. So they're quite nice to grab because they can be sold. They don't take up too much room. Whereas for many other things, because they might take up 6 or 8 slots within your inventory, you may actually want to avoid them. But if they've got quality and they've got sockets, not only are they worth looking at because they will save you resources with regards to crafting, but they can also be broken down for resources, whereas everything else can only be sold. So if you've got the salvage bench, then anything with quality or a socket can actually be salvaged. So I hope that was useful. It really is worth considering having a loot filter. If you're playing on console, I don't know how easy it is. I know that you can do it, but this guide is not for that, and I don't even know if NeverSink is available for console. But if you're playing on PC, then you can absolutely go in. If we look here, you've got all of your details. So they've even got Linux, and that would allow you to put it onto a Steam Deck. So you can have it on both Windows and your Steam Deck. The full details on how to install are there. One of the things that they do show in here is this is what it will all look like. You will get more rays and you will get larger text. And for many of these, you would have got audio cues. And I actually think it might be worth it just for the audio cues because there's something rewarding when you get a unique. You know it's a unique, but again, I've done a video about uniques and they're a little bit different in this game. So if you're unsure on how to do those, then please go check out that video. I'll put a link in the description for anything to do with looting or to do with uniques, but there are other guides available. I hope that you found this useful. I hope that bouncing around between the windows wasn't too confusing for you. I really appreciate the comments. Please do give me comments about how I can improve because I'm only 2 months into my YouTube journey. I'd never spoken on camera before. I'm certainly feeling a bit more comfortable on camera, but I still find it quite nerve-wracking to start a video. But I think that this will help. I hope that I've made a bit more use of the window and that this is helpful for you. I really appreciate watching. Thanks for taking the time. I'm Bifties. This is The Cave. Welcome to my exile. See you next time.